All right, let's kick off at another deep dive. Today, we're shrinking down, way down, to explore the amazing world of your immune system.
Oh, this will be fun.
Yeah. Our guide is a physiology handout from Dr. Rasha Eldeeb, focusing on white blood cells and, well, I bet you've never heard of this, the reticuloendothelial system.
The what now? I'm intrigued.
Right. It's wild, so think about it. Constantly bombarded by microscopic threats, bacteria, viruses, but we rarely get sick.
That's a good point. We take it for granted.
It's like a secret army inside, fighting battles we don't even know about.
Speaking of armies, did you know our bodies actually have 2 layers of defense, working like some high-tech security system?
2 layers, so not just one big army, but two forces.
You got it. The first, the non-specific immune response, is a rapid response team, engulfing, destroying anything foreign through phagocytosis. No questions asked, immediate action.
Like a security guard who tackles anyone suspicious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the second line of defense, that's where things get interesting, the specific immune response.
Ooh, strategic.
Exactly. This one's targeted, creating antibodies like personalized weapons to take down specific enemies.
Antibodies. So, like guided missiles against a specific virus.
Precisely. And we've got lymphocytes in this line, too.
Lymphocytes.
Yep. Elite soldiers of the immune system attack and destroy infected cells, preventing the invaders from spreading.
Wow. A whole microscopic war inside us. So who are the key players, these white blood cell all-stars?
All right, let's introduce them. We'll start with the neutrophils. They're the most abundant and the true first responders. Imagine brave soldiers rushing to an infection, ready to fight off those bacterial invaders.
So the frontline troops, always ready. But what happens after the attack? Who cleans up the battlefield?
That's where the monocytes come in, or, well,
Except
macrophages.
basophils.
Yep, think of them as the heavy lifters, the cleanup crew. They engulf bacteria, debris, and this is important. They play a crucial role in immunity by presenting antigens to other immune cells.
So not just cleaning, they're gathering intel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Coordinating future defenses. And of course, we can't forget the lymphocytes. They're special forces, right?
Yeah.
Each with unique skills. B cells, they're the weapon factories, producing those antibodies.
To neutralize specific threats.
Precisely. Then T cells, they're the generals, directing the attack, coordinating everything.
Amazing how each cell has a specific role working together. It's like a well-coordinated team.
It is. Now, the handout mentions a couple more. Eosinophils and basophils. Any guesses what they do?
Based on their names. Eosinophils. Basophils. They sound like they deal with something specific.
They do. They're important, especially when it comes to parasites and allergies.
Parasites and allergies. Okay, so tell me more about that. Like, what do eosinophils do specifically?
Well, eosinophils, think of them as the body's expert exterminators, okay? They target parasites with powerful enzymes designed to combat those specific invaders.
Parasites. That sounds intense. I'm guessing this isn't an everyday issue for most of us, though, right?
True, not many parasites in our daily lives.
Yeah.
But they also play a role in allergic reactions, which, as you said, are way more common.
Oh, allergies. So that's why I get that stuffy nose and itchy eyes when pollen's in the air. That's my eosinophils going a little haywire.
Well, in allergic reactions, they can actually contribute to the problem. Inflammation, tissue damage, all that fun stuff.
So it's my own immune system turning against me. That's fascinating, but slightly alarming.
It is complex, that's for sure. Powerful system, but can get a little overzealous sometimes.
Okay, makes sense. But let's shift gears for a second back to that mysterious reticuloendothelial system, the RES.
Ah, yes, the RES, often overlooked, but very important.
So what is it exactly?
Think of it like a network of cleanup crews stationed all over the body, made up of different types of macrophages.
Wait, so those heavy lifters we talked about, they're part of the RES.
Exactly.
So it's like having tiny cleaning robots everywhere, constantly on the lookout. What kind of things do they clean up?
Oh, all sorts. In the skin, we've got histocytes. Those are macrophages guarding against invaders from the outside world. Then in the lungs, we have pulmonary alveolar macrophages, filtering out all the dust, carbon, silica particles we breathe in.
Wow, I bet they're busy, especially in a city.
You bet.
Yeah.
And don't forget, they're also cleaning up after those microscopic battles, all that cellular debris.
So the RES isn't just about defense. It's about keeping things clean and balanced.
You got it.
Yeah.
And it does even more, breaking down hemoglobin, storing iron, even repairing tissues after inflammation. It's the ultimate recycling and repair crew.
A real multitasker. But before we get too far, I'm curious. How do doctors actually assess the state of our immune system? The handout mentions total and differential leukocytic counts.
Good question. Those counts are essentially blood tests.
Mm-hmm.
They give a snapshot of the immune system's activity. The total leukocytic count tells you how many white blood cells are in your blood.
Okay, a head count of the immune team. And what about the differential count?
That one breaks it down further, gives you the percentages of each type of white blood cell.
So why are these numbers important?
Well, they can help doctors spot potential issues.
Yeah.
For example, an increased total count leukocytosis that could be normal, after exercise or something. But it could also mean infection, inflammation, even some cancers.
Okay, so not always a bad sign, but worth investigating.
Right. Then on the flip side, a decreased count that's leukopenia could signal a problem with bone marrow or other underlying issues.
So it's like checking the immune system's vital signs.
Exactly. Gives doctors important information about what's going on.
Fascinating. And the handout mentions some pretty incredible abilities of these white blood cells, like diapedesis. What is that?
Diapedesis. That's their ability to squeeze right through blood vessel walls to get where they're needed.
Wait, what? Through the wall?
Yep. Think of a superhero squeezing through a tiny passage to get to the scene of a crime. That's essentially what these cells are doing. Pretty impressive, right?
Wow. It's amazing how they can maneuver like that. And then once they're in the tissues, how do they get around? Do they just float around?
Not at all. They have a way of moving called motility. It's this amoeba-like motion. They extend and retract these little arm-like projections called pseudopodia, lets them actively patrol the tissues and hunt down pathogens.
So they're not just waiting around for trouble, they're actively seeking it out.
Got it. They're like little microscopic detectives.
That's incredible. But how do they find their targets? Is it just random?
Not random at all. Remember that chemotaxis we mentioned? That's their guidance system. They follow chemical signals, like breadcrumbs, leading them straight to where they're needed.
So they're drawn to specific things, like chemicals released by bacteria?
Exactly. Or damaged cells, even signals from other immune cells. It's like having an internal GPS guiding them to the source of the problem.
Wow, it's like a microscopic manhunt. And once they reach their target, how do they actually take down the invader?
Well, they have a special move for that. It's called phagocytosis. It's basically the process of engulfing and digesting the invader. Yep. Imagine the white blood cell wrapping itself around the bacteria, forming a little pouch. And inside that pouch, it releases powerful enzymes and chemicals to destroy the enemy.
So they're like tiny little Pac-Mans gobbling up the bad guys.
Yeah, something like that is a pretty efficient way to eliminate threats.
It's mind-blowing how all this is happening inside us all the time. It really makes you appreciate the amazing complexity of the human body.
It is truly remarkable. And it's all thanks to these incredible white blood cells and the reticuloendothelial system working tirelessly behind the scenes to keep us healthy.
I think we've covered a lot of ground already, and I'm already feeling overwhelmed with all this new information. I think we need a moment to process everything before we dive deeper. What do you think?
I agree. Let's take a quick break, let all this amazing information sink in a bit, and then we'll come back and explore even more of the fascinating world of white blood cells. All right, welcome back. Before our break, we were talking about the different white blood cells. It's amazing how specialized they are.
It really is, each one with a specific job to do. Like we said, neutrophils are first on the scene, then the monocytes clean up with those amazing macrophages.
Right, precisely. Each cell has its own skills, all working together. Take neutrophils, they're not just fast, they've got these granules packed with enzymes and antimicrobial stuff.
Like a little toolkit.
Exactly, ready to neutralize bacteria. And then the monocytes. Once they leave the bloodstream and get into the tissues, they mature into those macrophages.
Right, the heavy-duty cleanup crew.
Yep. And they live longer than neutrophils, which makes sense. They've got a lot of cleaning to do.
Makes sense. And they help with immunity too, right?
Absolutely. They're key for presenting antigens, basically showing the rest of the immune system what the enemy looks like.
So they're like gathering intel and sharing it.
Exactly. Coordinating the defenses. Now, what about lymphocytes? We said they're part of that specific immune response.
Yeah.
But how do they actually work?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. They seem pretty important.
They are. It's a fascinating group, each with its own thing. Let's start with B lymphocytes, or B cells for short.
B cells.
These guys are responsible for producing antibodies.
Oh, right, the antibodies. Those personalized weapons you mentioned earlier?
Precisely. Think of them like guided missiles, programmed to seek and destroy a specific virus. Each antibody is made to recognize a particular antigen.
So it's like a lock and key. Antibodies the key, antigens the lock.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And then you've got T lymphocytes, or T cells. They're involved in something called cell-mediated immunity.
Cell-mediated. So not antibodies this time.
Right. They don't make antibodies like B cells do. Instead, they directly attack and destroy infected cells.
Ooh, so if B cells are the weapon factories, T cells are the soldiers on the front lines.
Exactly. And there are different types of T cells, too, each with its own function.
Of course there are. Gotta have specialized roles.
Right. You've got cytotoxic T cells. They're like the assassins. They directly kill infected cells.
Yeah.
Then helper T cells, they're more like the strategists, coordinating the other immune cells.
Wow, it's incredible how organized the whole system is.
It really is. Oh, and don't forget about natural killer cells, NK cells.
NK cells. Those sound kind of scary.
They're pretty powerful. They're a type of lymphocyte that can kill infected cells, even cancer cells, without needing prior sensitization.
So they're like ready to take down anything suspicious.
Exactly. They're part of the innate immune system, so they provide a rapid response to a wide range of threats.
It's like having a security team that doesn't need to check your ID first.
Huh, exactly. They're on high alert all the time. Now, you mentioned earlier that this system can be affected by things, and the handout talks about leukocytosis and leukopenia. I want to dig into those a bit.
Yeah, let's talk about those. So leukocytosis, that's when the white blood cell count is high, right?
Exactly. And it can be totally normal, like
Mhm.
after you exercise or if you're pregnant. But it can also be a sign of something more serious, like an infection, inflammation, or even some types of cancer,
So it's a bit of a red flag, but not always a bad thing.
right? Needs further investigation. Now, leukopenia, that's the opposite. It's a low white blood cell count.
And that's probably not good, right?
No, it can be a problem. It can be caused by viral infections, autoimmune diseases, even some medications that suppress the immune system.
So basically, your defenses are weakened.
Exactly. It makes you more vulnerable to infections and other health problems.
Makes sense. So this all really highlights how important a healthy immune system is. What are some things people can do to support their immune system?
That's a great question. Lots of lifestyle factors play a role. Diet, for example, is huge.
So eating those fruits and veggies, all that good stuff.
You got it. A good diet gives your immune cells the nutrients they need to function properly. Think of it as fueling your internal army.
So a healthy diet for a healthy immune system. What about exercise? Does that help too?
Oh, absolutely. Regular exercise is key for a healthy immune system.
Yeah.
It improves circulation, which helps transport those immune cells around the body, and it also helps flush out toxins.
So getting your heart rate up is good for your immunity too.
Exactly. And we can't forget about sleep.
Ah, sleep. Everyone's favorite topic.
Right. But seriously, sleep is crucial for immune function. During sleep, your body repairs and regenerates tissues, and your immune system releases these proteins called cytokines, which help regulate the immune response.
So getting enough sleep gives your immune system a chance to recharge.
Exactly. Not getting enough sleep can really weaken your defenses. And speaking of things that can weaken the immune system, we can't forget about stress.
Stress. Yeah, that's a big one.
It is. Chronic stress can suppress your immune system, making you more susceptible to getting sick.
So taking care of your mental health is just as important as physical health when it comes to immunity.
Absolutely. Relaxation techniques like meditation, deep breathing, yoga, those can all help reduce stress and keep your immune system strong.
It's all connected, isn't it? Physical health, mental health, it all plays a role.
Exactly. It's a holistic thing.
Yeah.
Now, there are a few other factors to consider too, like exposure to sunlight.
Sunlight.
Yep. It's important because it helps your body produce vitamin D, and vitamin D is actually crucial for regulating immune function.
So getting some sunshine can actually boost your immunity.
It can. Of course, you want to be sensible about sun protection, but moderate sunlight exposure is definitely good for you.
Good to know. And then there are vaccinations, of course.
Ah, yes, vaccinations. Can't forget about those.
Mm.
They're essential for preventing infections.
Right. They work by introducing a weakened version of the virus to your body so your immune system can learn how to fight it off, right?
Exactly. It's like a training program for your immune system. You're basically giving it a sneak peek at the enemy so it can develop those antibodies and memory cells for long-lasting protection.
That's incredible. So vaccinations are like a dress rehearsal for the real battle.
You got it. It's one of the most effective ways to protect yourself and others from infectious diseases.
Wow, this has been such an eye-opening conversation. It's amazing to think about all these things happening inside us all the time, working to keep us healthy.
It really is remarkable, the body's ability to defend itself.
I feel like I have a whole new appreciation for my immune system now, but I'm sure there's still so much more to learn. What else can you tell us about these amazing white blood cells? So we've
Right.
talked about neutrophils, macrophages. But those eosinophils, those are the ones that deal with parasites, right? The handout mentioned them.
Yep, those are the ones that are fascinating. Think of them as highly trained exterminators.
Exterminator.
Yeah, equipped with special weapons, to fight those unwanted invaders. Their granules, they contain these potent enzymes, specifically designed to target parasites.
Okay, so they're like the parasite specialists.
Exactly. Though most of us don't encounter too many parasites these days.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, we talked about allergies. Eosinophils play a role there, too, and that's something a lot of people deal with.
Right, allergies. So how do these exterminators end up causing those stuffy noses and itchy eyes when pollen's around?
Well, in allergic reactions, they can actually kind of backfire a bit.
Ugh.
Yeah. They're great at fighting parasites, but with allergens, their response can cause inflammation, tissue damage, all that fun stuff.
So they're part of the problem, not the solution in that case.
In a way, yeah. It just shows how complex the immune system is.
Yeah.
It's powerful, but sometimes it overreacts.
Right, makes sense. Like it's sounding the alarm too loudly.
Exactly. And then, for those really sudden allergy symptoms, there's another type of white blood cell involved.
Basophils.
Basophils.
Yeah.
They're the ones that cause that instant runny nose and itchy eyes, right?
You got it. They're like the alarm system of the immune system. When they encounter an allergen, they release histamine, all those inflammatory chemicals. That triggers the immediate reaction.
So those allergy symptoms, as annoying as they are, it's just our bodies trying to protect us.
Exactly. Even those reactions that seem negative, they're part of a bigger system that's working to keep us safe.
Okay, that makes sense. It's all about perspective, I guess. Now, remember diapedesis. That ability of white blood cells to squeeze through blood vessel walls. Oh yeah, diapedesis. That's essential, for letting those cells get where they need to go.
It's still mind-blowing to me that they can do that.
It is amazing. Imagine them squeezing and contorting themselves to get through those tiny spaces between cells in the blood vessel walls. It's remarkable.
Like little acrobats.
Exactly.
Right.
And once they're through, they use that amoeba-like movement, that motility, to navigate the tissues, engulfing invaders, cleaning things up.
So they're constantly on the move, patrolling, protecting.
Always on duty. And remember, chemotaxis, that's their guidance system. They follow those chemical trails.
Right. Like a trail of breadcrumbs leading them to the infection or injury.
Exactly. Drawn to those specific chemicals released by bacteria, damaged cells, even other immune cells.
Yeah.
Ensures they arrive at the right spot.
Wow, so precise. And then once they reach their target, phagocytosis, right? That's their big move.
That's it. They engulf the invader, form a little pouch called a phagosome, and inside that pouch, they release all these powerful enzymes and chemicals to break it down, destroy it.
It's like their own personal digestive system for invaders.
Huh, you could say that. It's a very efficient system.
It's amazing, all these complex processes happening all the time, and we don't even realize it.
It really highlights the incredible power of the human body, right?
Yeah.
All these things working together to keep us healthy.
Absolutely. And it makes you realize how important it is to take care of ourselves.
Exactly. We've talked about a healthy lifestyle. Diet, exercise, sleep, managing stress. It all makes a difference.
It's all connected, isn't it? Supporting our immune system means taking care of ourselves in every way.
Exactly. It's all about giving your body the tools it needs to do its job.
Well, this has been an incredible journey. I feel like I've learned so much about these amazing white blood cells and the whole immune system. Thank you for guiding us through this microscopic world.
It's been my pleasure. It's a topic I'm passionate about, and I'm glad we could share it with our listeners today.
And to our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into your own immune system. It's a complex and fascinating world, and hopefully you've gained a new appreciation for the amazing things happening inside you right now.
Absolutely. Remember, your body is an incredible machine. Take care of it, and it will take care of you.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.